The last 24 hours have been full of new details and more questions in the case of the disappearance of Gabby Petito. The FBI is searching the family home of Petito's fiance, Brian Laundrie, after her likely remains were found. Well, our next guest is a travel blogger who says she found Petito's van. Jenn Bethune is here with us now to tell us all about it. Jenn, you I was just blown away by this story. You're a travel blogger. You happen to be videotaping a country road, and you come upon this van. Tell us how you found out the van you videotaped was the one that Gabby was in.
Well, our footage on YouTube runs about 2 weeks behind, so I hadn't even gotten to her footage yet. I mean, when we saw the van on August 27th, she wasn't reported a missing person. So as we were driving by, the van was very noticeable because it had Florida plates in it. And we're from Florida and we wanted to stop and say hi. However, it was really dark. There was no activity and we just decided to keep on driving. Now on Saturday evening, I was editing our Sunday YouTube video. And I started working on August 27th's footage. Well, as luck would have it, I looked down at my phone, and in just that moment, I got a notification. Someone tagged me in something that said the authorities changed the timeline to the 27th. So if anyone had any footage or anything from the 27th, to please look at it. And I immediately got goosebumps all over. I ran back to the computer and lo and behold, went through our GoPro footage and there was Gabby's van.
And the interesting part for people who haven't been really following the story very closely is that because you had the van and you had a timeline and you had a location, the authorities were eventually able to find Gabby Petito's body, or what they believe to be Gabby Petito's body. I find this very fascinating that social media has become the new detectives in America. I think it's important. I think it's a great tool. But more fascinating to me is, let's show this picture for our folks. The picture of what another person watching your video said, hey, what about that, which he believes is someone digging or doing something in a field near the van. You can see the picture of the van that you took. And that whatever that is going on there. What do you think is going on there, Jenn?
I don't know. The road was extremely dusty. And so I was driving behind my husband in our Jeep, and I really couldn't see much around the sides. And so the only thing that I noticed myself was the flip-flop behind the van. I did see flip-flops behind the van, but I didn't put my own two eyes on seeing anybody out in the field.
Were they hers?
That doesn't mean it wasn't there.
I don't want to cut you off, but were they her flip-flops? So we know that to be her flip-flops now?
I don't know. They were brown flip-flops, so I couldn't get a gauge on what size. But it is very normal for van lifers and, nomads in general to leave their shoes outside when they go in. So it wasn't something that was alarming to me.
Okay. Before we go, I only have about a minute or so, Jenn. I think this is an important part of the story. You had a chance to talk to Gabby's mom. Can you tell us how that went?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually talked to Gabby's mom and Gabby's dad. They are just wonderful, amazing, beautiful human beings. And that call with Gabby's mom was very wonderful. In a very dark time, we could have a good cry as two moms together and just really connect. We didn't talk about specifics or details. It was just more about being in the moment and being there for each other.
Well, I take it it's called Red, White, and Bethune because your last name is Bethune. It's a travel blog, and I take it you didn't expect to be the center of so many stories. Jenn Bethune, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, we'll have you back again as this story unfolds. Coming up.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.